Uploading.
We're back.
Can you believe it?
I can, but I can't.
From the COVID fog.
And just fog. Or heat.
And
whichever you want to call it down here. Oh,
how's the weather down there, bud?
God. Oh, let me tell you. I'm used to it at this point, getting out of your car and immediately being hit with a wall of heat and humidity. I'm used to it. I'm good. It's like, okay, so it's like New England, few days of summer where it's really bad, but it's just every day. All right, I can get used to this.
Today and yesterday, 90 plus, 110% humidity. For those of you just tuning in, welcome to the Brother Jack Daddy Podcast, Episode 2. After a 3-week layoff, we are back with Episode 2. Why has it been 3 weeks? Because COVID is a motherfucker.
Yes.
We would like to welcome you all in. Thank you for tuning in. And there's a lot to talk about since the last time we were live. So, we can go, since we talk about all things, where would you like to start? We can start with the sports world, current events, or professional wrestling.
You know what? I kind of want to start talking baseball since we've just finished up the Midsummer Classic. The All-Star game was last night. The Home Run Derby was Monday night. So I think Juan Soto was the winner of the Home Run Derby. I was watching that, and it was great to go and see Juan Soto win it. But Julio Rodriguez of Seattle, that was his showing. That was his show of
coming out party. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. That was his coming out party. It was great. It was also, a tip of the cap to Albert Pujols in his last season doing the Home Run Derby.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't win. I don't think a lot of people expected him to.
No.
But they were all rooting for him.
It was, in wrestling terms, it was a nostalgia act.
Exactly. It's like, Hulk Hogan getting his last WWE Championship run.
Right. I was happy to see him. But you knew he wasn't going to win just because, Christ, look at who he was going against.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he went up against Kyle Schwarber, which was very odd. The guy just cranks out home run after home run in the month of June and July, and he just couldn't get the hang of it. And I wonder how the second half is going to be for him after that. But, he then went, I think in the second round, he went up against Soto. Because Julio Rodriguez went up against the former champion, Pete Alonso, going for a three-peat of winning it in 2019 as a rookie and then winning it in 2021 because obviously 2020, COVID took that away. I found that Pete Alonso in the Home Run Derby, he was very, very I don't know, he was just very, he was too focused. He was taking this way too seriously. I'd be out there hitting home run balls with this fucking Americana cowboy hat on or something, just shagging fly balls into deep center, just going, look, it's the Home Run Derby. This is fun. Let's just go and put on a show. All right. That's all this is about. just putting on a fun show. Tomorrow night's the game. We'll put on another fun show in a different way, and then we get in the second half. Let's go and let loose a little bit. And Pete Alonso just looked like he should be on the New York Yankees and not the Mets.
I'm sure that there are going to be some people that are going to be a little upset with that comment.
Well, it's just from his attitude. He's
joking.
He's a Met.
Mets fans.
He's a Met, and I would never want him to be on the Yankees because it's like, great, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, now fucking Pete Alonso too, great. But like he just looked like he was way too focused. Obviously, me being a big Red Sox fan, I get why JD and others didn't want to go and do the home run derby. I mean, you see some players who they go to the home run derby and they were cranking them out left, right, and center to the start of the season. But after the home run derby, they perform in it. They start to go downhill a little bit. It's odd. I know you change your swinging mechanics a little bit for the derby because your goal is to only hit home runs. It's not to hey, maybe that'll be a homer. No, your goal is to win the fucking thing, win the derby. I don't know. I like the format they do now instead of you get 10 out. So all of a sudden you could have a guy just go on a tear and he's only had 2 outs and he goes and hits 12 home runs before he gets a third out. And then it's you got to wait for the 10 out. I like the 3-minute. It makes it faster. It makes it more entertaining because it's about speed and it's about making sure you go and crank them out there. And again, coming out party for J-Rod. 33 it was in the first round, and then he had 30 in the second. He came up short with, I think, 17 in the finals. But to go and have, what's that number? To go and hit in one night 80 home runs.
Yes. 81.
That's incredible. So it's let's go. And then, the cynics in baseball today, when talking about Juan Soto, we'll get to him in a minute, when talking about, what team should he play for? What team should that? People where's Julio going to be after Seattle says, yeah, we don't want you anymore up here? Because so Seattle does to a lot of their players.
Yes, that is what Seattle is known for.
Oh, it's infuriating. And you were kind of going through it too with, one of our teams.
Mm-hmm. Let's stay with Juan Soto and talk about the Nationals. So, prior to the home run derby, and I don't know if you heard this or not, Juan Soto was offered $443 million contract, which he turned down. Now,
did I turn that down?
I wouldn't turn that down, but he is betting on himself.
He is definitely betting on himself. I think because he's going to have a very pricey price tag, where he's doing there was a 15-year, $440 million extension they tried to sign him to, and he declined it. So I think he's looking for somewhere maybe close to $500 million over 15 years, which I can't do any quick calculations. I mean, math. I know that much.
I mean, over 15 years, $500 million. That's 50. It's like $46 million a year.
Yeah, I don't know if we're. I don't know if we're really going to have a player hit that much quite yet.
I'm sorry, it's $33 million a year.
33. Okay, 33. Yeah, well, that makes sense with the 15. Massachusetts products can't do math. Go figure.
Yeah.
Thanks, Massachusetts public education.
Can't do that large sum of math. But getting back to Juan Soto, so he turns down this offer that the Nationals give him.
Yep.
Do you know that the Nationals then did not charter him a flight to the All-Star game? And your boy, who just turned down a $440 million contract, had to fly commercial.
Yep, I saw that today. Oh, I thought that was amazing to see. On the one hand, it's a bad look for the Nationals. 100% get that. It's like, come on, guys. Like, it's your star player. He's going to the home run derby. He's an all-star. Just go and send him in the charter. Just be on your way with no sour grapes whatsoever. But at the same time, this is like petty lesson 101.
Well, here's the thing. This is why I think they shot themselves in the foot. Because obviously that's not going to fly with Juan Soto. So if they did come back with a more favorable offer, do you think Juan Soto is going to accept it? Or do you think he's about to be like, no, you disrespected me, fuck you, take your money, rub it on your chest, I'm out?
Well, yeah, no, I'd be doing the same thing. Plus, after this 15-year extension that he's already turned down, Washington's saying, yeah, we're going to be listening about Juan Soto. But for any team out there, any fans of teams out there that want Juan Soto, myself included, just know you're going to have to give up everything, it seems. Because it is Juan Soto. He is going to be one of the top players in the league.
I mean, absolutely. I want to say this generation's, in terms of Boston sports, this generation's David Ortiz, this generation's Manny Ramirez.
In terms of baseball, to kind of encompass the whole sport, this generation's Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, Barry Bonds, Ken Griffey Jr., something like that, where like he's a player who has the potential to transcend. Like everybody went and said this about Mike Trout. Oh, he's going to be the top player. No one knows a damn thing about Mike Trout. No one. He is so boring as a person and a player. Like you got guys like a Juan Soto who's colorful. You got guys like Jazz Chisholm down in Miami who's incredibly colorful. Tim Anderson in the Chicago White Sox. Ronald Acuna, Ozzy Albies in Atlanta. Fernando Tatis Jr. on San Diego. Like you've got these guys that you can mold the game around and make it better.
Yes, absolutely, and it's up to Major League Baseball to do that. Which is kind of
when Rob Manfred is saying that $5,000 to $15,000 a year for a minor league baseball player's salary is a livable wage, you can tell that the league is really going to change things.
Yeah. Talking about changing things. Earlier, we were talking about the home run derby. And we had talked about how they changed from the 10 outs to the 3 minutes. It makes it more exciting. It makes it fun. It keeps you engaged. So if they can change things for the fucking home run derby to make it all of those things that we want in regular baseball games, why have they not changed regular baseball games?
Because every time they try to change regular baseball games, they get so much pushback and flack from the old guys who don't want to die. That's why. That's the only reason why. It's the way, like, I could go and put the MLB TV app on. I get it, a little bit of free advertising through T-Mobile. I go and get MLB TV subscription for free every year. It's awesome. I love it. But if I want to watch the Atlanta Braves, I have to go find a bar because I can't watch it because of blackout restrictions, because they want to protect the regional sports networks and the money that they make. How in the fucking 2022 are we still allowing blackout restrictions? The NFL even got rid of those years ago. The NFL used to have a blackout restriction where if your stadium wasn't sold out, or at least I think 75 or 80% filled within 72 hours of game time, that was it. Like, you could not watch on local TV. You had to go to the game to be able to go and watch the Patriots, or the Patriots is a team I think of. It kind of was like the incentive to go to the stadium, spend money to give to us, the NFL, because we want your money. So Major League Baseball wants to do the same thing, but they also want to go and protect the regional sports networks so that way they don't go and get screwed off of people like me. It's like, no, guys, this is the streaming age. This is what it is. You gotta go and say, hey, look, uh, we just have to let people watch the games. Like I hated it last year when I couldn't go and watch the Red Sox when I was living up in Massachusetts. It's like I can't watch the Red Sox at all unless they're on national TV.
When you allow people to watch the games without blackout restrictions, you know what you're doing? You're creating new fans. You're growing your fan base. These are all good things. And talking about regional sports networks, we do have a regional sports network up here that is owned by a certain gentleman that his name will not get used on this podcast because, well, fuck him.
Yep. His initials are JH, and I have gotten used to calling him
the Low Talker.
Jack. No, I haven't been calling him a Low Talker. I've been using those initials and coming up with something funny. Like I think the other day I said, "Oh, Mr. Jack Off Hemorrhoid."
Yeah. Listen, I am very grateful that this ownership group brought us as many world championships as they did. But what they are doing and the method that they are subscribing to is not a method that can work on a big market team. You hire somebody from Tampa. I'm sorry, you hire somebody from the St. Petersburg Rays. Because they're not even in Tampa.
No, they're not. They're not in Tampa at all.
So you hire somebody from the St. Petersburg Rays, and you expect him to run the team the same way that he did the Rays, except you are one of the big four teams in the league. You cannot run a team that can average a $250 million payroll a year like a team for a fucking $50 million a year payroll. That's like, that's going back to like the Yawkey Trust years.
It's kind of, you kind of saw the fruition of why it's kind of been like, I gotta to imitate Low Talker. We're going through some lean years, some lean years here. I came on your show because I didn't like the comments I got, and those lean years led to the purchase of the Pittsburgh Penguins in the NHL.
And they are going to lead. It's going to lead the purchase of the Pittsburgh Penguins. It's also going to possibly lead to purchasing an NBA team in Vegas. Meaning that Fenway Sports Group, along with Clutch Sports, are probably going to establish an NBA team in Las Vegas. And for those of you that don't know, Clutch Sports is the consortium, I want to say, owned by LeBron James. So it begs the question of, you have Low Talker and Tom Warner, who bought the team, who own this the current Red Sox team, and have for 20 years now, 21 years. They have brought us 3 world championships, which we're grateful for. But they have also created the Fenway Sports Group. Yep. And underneath Fenway Sports Group, and what I'm about to say is going to be one of the reasons why I don't foresee them ever selling this team. Okay? Because you have Fenway Sports Group consisting of the Boston Red Sox, now the Pittsburgh Penguins. Then you have Roush Fenway Racing. Then you have Liverpool FC. And soon to be whatever NBA team goes in Vegas.
Maybe.
Possibly. 90% sure.
I mean, we're almost 100% guaranteed. Like, I think I've heard for the last few years now that if the NBA does expand, that the first team is going to be Seattle. It's not going to be Vegas because of what the owner of the Oklahoma City Thunder did to the city of Seattle.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You got to have an even number of teams.
Not necessarily. The NFL, when Art Modell took the Cleveland Browns to Baltimore and then became the Baltimore Ravens, they had, I think that was 31 teams in the league, and they had 31 for a while before the Houston Texans came in. And the NHL just recently got to 32 after having the Golden Knights for, I think, this was the Seattle Kraken's first year in existence. So I think the Golden Knights were a team for 4 or 5 seasons before Seattle came into the picture. Yeah, I know Vegas. Hang on. It's like Google knows what I'm talking about because they listening, bro.
5 years, you're right.
Yeah, okay, 5 years.
2017 their inaugural season.
Yeah, for 4 or 5 seasons, the NHL had 31 teams. The NFL before the Texans had 31. So it's doable. It's a little tough on the schedule, with making sure that everybody, plays an even amount of games. Like you would think that it would be very easy to say, okay, here, boom, we're gonna. And it was actually when the Cleveland Browns came back, they did it to 30. I remember this off the top of my head now, because the original Cleveland Browns owner Art Modell moved to Baltimore because he didn't want to be in Cleveland. The NFL told Cleveland, because Cleveland sued, you can keep the history, the likeness, and all that. The team is going to be moved to Baltimore. That's what became the Ravens. And then Cleveland was awarded the franchise again and became the Browns again in 99. That's where you got 31. And then the Houston Texans came in 2002. Rapid fire history. So you can do an odd number. It just, the schedule gets a little bit wonky. It's like there were years where Major League Baseball had 21 teams. The NFL had 23. So it can happen. Obviously, you want to make it easy. You want to put 2 teams in right away, but not everybody's going to have the money available. They're not going to be able to have the liquid asset, the cash at the offering table to be able to do this already. Unfortunately, the Fenway Sports Group is going to have that cash, especially with LeBron James included. If they sold Liverpool, they would definitely have the cash to be able to go and do this. See them selling Liverpool because Liverpool makes them a shit ton of money. Fenway, Jersey Street, the Red Sox, that makes them probably the most money. The Roush Racing, that one doesn't make them a ton, but it makes them a good amount of money. Pittsburgh is going to make them a good amount of money because it's Pittsburgh. They just re-signed Evgeny Malkin. Still got to sit the kid. I could definitely see them getting into Vegas. And, if there's one thing that we've learned with both the Golden Knights and the Raiders, Vegas is a sports town, and they're fine with it. They're okay, and you don't see, I think, what was it? Ruggs on the Raiders last year was the one that killed those guys in his car?
Yes, the lady and the dog.
That was it. It was the lady and the dog. I thought it was a couple of people. So other than that, I really haven't heard of any other issues with players in Vegas. So obviously you can...
No, that wasn't... I don't think that was a Vegas issue. I think that was a young dumb issue.
Well, yeah, but because he was a Vegas, I'm using it. Again, it's kind of what a lot of politicians and news agencies do. They go in, oh, well, I'm talking about Vegas, so it's included even if it's not exactly fitting the narrative I'm talking about.
Right. And just so you know, Roush Fenway Racing brought in $52 million a year last year to Fenway.
It's actually a lot more than I thought. Because let's be honest, I'm in racing country, but it's still not as popular as everything else.
No. Drive fast, turn left Sundays.
Oh. But no, I think, that's definitely going to be. I read something, I think, a week ago. I forget where it was. about LeBron making a play to be able to be an owner and using Fenway Sports Group to go and help with that, whether it's joining together to go and own a team in Vegas, or he sells off his portion of the Fenway Sports Group to be able to go and get the assets to start a team in Vegas. Either one, kind of a foregone conclusion.
It really is. So with that being said, we can put a bow on the whole baseball topic for tonight, right?
No, we can never put a bow on the baseball topic. Baseball is life.
Lord. It is a yes or no question, sir.
No, I guess I've only got one thing I'd like to kind of get off my chest in regards to the Red Sox.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I want to see if your thing is going to be my thing, and then if it is, then we can totally put a bow on it. But if it's not, then yes, I do have something to add.
So, there's a lot to this. Number one, I'll start with the trade stuff where it was reported. I forget who. Buster Olney of ESPN. It was reported by him that the Red Sox were going to be in discussion for trade markets, but they weren't going to be winning any bids. They weren't going to get into bidding wars. Now, I'm kind of 50-50 on that because it's like, look, Kyle Bloom was brought in for, we discussed one reason just now with the Fenway Sports Group. It was to be cheap, to be inexpensive, to go and sign players to low-risk type of deals, and that's it. The other reason is to rebuild the farm system that Dave Dombrowski killed to be able to go and get a championship, because Dave Dombrowski cannot build anything. Can't build a farm system. He can go and obliterate it, but he can't build a farm system worth a damn.
Really good at destroying it.
Oh, he's real good at destroying it. But Bloom has done a masterful job with rebuilding and retooling the farm system, especially when you got guys like Jaron Duran coming up. Tristan Casas could be coming up soon. Connor Wong has been great when he does come up and play. Chavis, though, no, sorry, he got rid of Ice Horse. Dahlbeck, that's it. Bobby Dahlbeck. You gotta get rid of Dahlbeck. He's a liability at first, and
it's pretty much just a liability.
Well, the other part is he's one of those new age, the new age stats people go and see. The analytics say that home runs are better to go and hit than hitting for get on base, because on base is not that great. Slugging percentage and F4. No, guys, please. Like, I understand that F4 and on-base percentage, that those are old statistics we don't need to look at, but they still matter in baseball. If you are home run or strikeout, like a Joey Gallo, who was 4 for 50 in his last few games before the All-Star break, what are you doing? Why aren't you looking at the mechanics of his swing and going, you need to start swinging for contact. You can't just be moonshot or bust, because that's going to sink careers.
Yes.
But apparently the analytics people, they think that's the right approach. It's moonshot or strikeout. We don't care about getting on base. They don't even care about walks. Walks are just as important to the game, because that's going to get to the pitcher as well as getting you on base, because the pitcher is going to go, shit, I had those pitches. And then he's going to doubt himself. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Mm-hmm.
I go back a little bit to the point I was making about Bloom, about building the farm system. And I think the Red Sox have done that. So a Juan Soto type, Boston Sox fans, forget it. You're not getting Juan Soto, because you're basically going to have to give up everybody to go and get a Juan Soto. But Josh Bell on the Washington Nationals, you could absolutely go and take if you do a 1-for-1 swap with Bobby Dahlbeck.
Mm-hmm.
And, maybe Dahlbeck will do better with a change of scenery. It did work a little bit for Benintendi.
Yes.
It definitely worked for Mookie Betts. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I believe he's got a ring for it, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. No, at the same time, it's LA, and they, like the Yankees, are able to buy rings.
Who
Though
else can buy
I
rings?
shouldn't, I shouldn't
You know who else can buy
go and
rings?
say that LA buys their rings. New York buys what? What?
Do you know who else can buy rings?
Stevie Cohen and the Mets.
The Red Sox.
Oh well, the Red Sox can buy rings too, but no, Jack off hemorrhoid. He'd rather go and get a team in Vegas for the NBA.
It's ridiculous.
You know? But when it comes to that fact about like with trades, Josh Bell at first base, I'll take it. Do I think it'll happen? Maybe not. Especially after going 5-12 before the All Star break. 0-10-1 in series against the AL East, the first team ever to be winless in series against their divisional opponents. Also, mad props to Baltimore. Getting a 500. Like, there's something brewing down in Baltimore. Like, that youth movement is
It's serious.
going to have to be pretty good. That's serious shit.
Give it a little bit more time, and it's going to be a problem.
Nothing ever happens overnight. You got to go and give it some time. The only time things happen overnight is when trash cans, video cameras, and center field are used.
Yes, sir.
Um,
Houston, you cheating fucks.
At this point, I'm over the fact they cheated. It's been a long enough time, but kind of like with Spygate, Deflategate, it's fun to bring back up.
Yeah,
So,
the Astros.
Why, like, as a fan, why the fuck are they not signing Bogarts and Devers, especially Devers?
All right, yes. So this is what I was going to put a ball on with the baseball. So Rafael Devers, it came out earlier this week that the Red Sox deem that Rafael Devers' worth is comparable to that of Matt Olson from the Atlanta Braves. Matt Olson recently signed an 8-year, $168 million extension, which puts him at roughly around $21 million a year. Earlier in this offseason, during spring training, Rafael Devers was asked what he thought his worth to be. Devers laughed and stated around $300 million. Now, at that time, people thought that was steep. People thought that they got a good chuckle out of it. They thought that he was overselling himself. Since spring training, Rafael Devers has cut down on infield errors, has proven that he can hit damn near anything and anyone. So I ask you, does that $300 million number look more realistic than the $168 million number that the lowballing, low-talking Red Sox want to hit him with?
It's a lowball offer for a reason. It's the same thing they employed with John Lester saying, yeah, thanks for winning us a World Series, but we're going to give you 4 for 90. And then telling Bogarts the same thing this past offseason. We're going to give you 4 for 90. Thanks for helping us win 2 World Series. And then a comparable deal is Matt Olson in Atlanta, a 7-year, $168 million extension. That's comparable to you, Rafael Devers. Let me go and give you a little bit of a stat. WAR, wins above replacement. That's a stat where I'll go and read it straight from baseballreference.com. A single number that presents the number of wins the player added to the team above what a replacement player, think AAA, would add. So they also give a little bit of a reference sheet on Baseball Reference as a scale for a single season, where an 8+ is MVP quality, 5+ is All-Star, 2+ is starter. So for this season, Ray, you good?
I'm good. Just
Okay. Okay. So for this season, Matt Olson's WAR is 1.8. Rafael Devers' WAR is 4.1. Now, career-wise, it's a 14.9 and Matt Olson's is a 20.1. But Matt Olson was on some very good Oakland Athletics teams. before he got traded to Atlanta. Let's go and look at some other career numbers. Matt Olson has had 2,413 at bats, 610 hits with 159 home runs, and a batting average of 253. And he started playing at the tail end of 2016, and his first full season was in 2018 in his age 24 season. His age 23, he was fourth in Rookie of the Year, playing in 60 games, where he hit 24 home runs. And his career high was in 2021 last year, Oakland, with 39 home runs. So Matt Olson for his career has 159 home runs. Rafael Devers for his career, with more at-bats but less games played and less seasons, he's got 134. And his batting average is 285. And his hits are 710 to 610. He's batted in 412 RBIs to 433 for Olson. And again, like, there's a year's difference between when these guys first started playing. Like, how is Devers this year has 22 home runs? Matt Olson's got 17. He's hitting Rafael Devers is hitting 324. He's got a higher WAR. He's got 62 runs and 55 RBI. Like, how is 168 like a comparable deal?
How is Matt Olson even a comparable player for them to even bring that up?
He's not. I like Matt Olson.
No, listen, you and I both, because of how bad the Red Sox were, and in the early to mid '90s, we both watched the Atlanta Braves because they were always on TV, because they were fucking blowing doors during that time period. So we kind of have an affinity for the Atlanta Braves as well, because the Red Sox were already home, Braves were always playing in the post. So we both like Matt Olson. We both like the Braves. It's not a knock against Matt Olson, but you're essentially comparing Ken Griffey Jr. to fucking Brian Daubach.
And again, and it's the same thing. It's like Ken Griffey Jr. is a great player. Brian Daubach's a great player too, but he's not a Ken Griffey Jr. It's like, come on, guys. But again, this is coming from Jacks Off Hemorrhoids saying, look, look, Chaim, I need you to... Chaim, sorry. I need you to not spend a ton of money. Okay, me and New Age LBJ here, we want to go and own a team in Vegas for the NBA. So I need you, and I also need you to go and tell those people on 98.5 that I don't like it when they go and complain and they go and make mean comments about me and the Red Sox. We're doing fine. We're doing great. Okay? Especially that 2 to 6 program, and I'll go suck an egg.
For those of you that are listening and have absolutely no idea what Kevin is referencing, just go into your Google machine and type in John Henry /Felger and Maz. At one point back in 2006? 2011, Jesus.
It was shortly after the collapse.
That's right, yes, the whole chicken in the clubhouse.
The whole chicken and beer.
Chicken and beer in the clubhouse.
It was after chicken and beer, the collapse, and the article that in the Jack-Off's Hemorrhoids owned Boston Globe put out a little bit of a hit piece against Terry Francona, the former manager of the Boston Red Sox at the time, who was fired after the 2011 season because obviously, the whole accountability thing, I get it, he was the coach. So, yeah, maybe they're not listening to him anymore. And then he brought in Bobby Valentine, which was a fucking unmitigated disaster.
Yeah, but that was just so that they needed to eat up that year so they could get
Tom Farrell, who was just a pushover yes man. He wasn't any good.
Well, I mean, that World Series ring says otherwise.
That World Series ring was due to, and I loved that World Series. That was one of my favorite ones. To obviously, the favorite one of mine is 04 because it broke the curse. But 13 was a favorite of mine because it, like, the emotions after the marathon bombing, and everything just happened to break the right way for the Red Sox that year. Barely got hit by the injury bug. Other teams that had more talent than the Red Sox did were getting hit by the injury bug. Again, the emotional baggage that the marathon bombing had, instead of it bringing everybody down, it almost brought us a Stanley Cup, and we were within 2 minutes of a Game 7 that year against the Chicago Blackhawks. And it brought everybody together, especially I remember, I was talking about this last night at work. I remember working that night that they caught Zernayev. And I came running into the maintenance area, blasting dirty water because, look, we finally caught the prick. We can move on with our lives down in Boston. We can go and play baseball. And the next day, we had David Ortiz saying, "This is our fucking city. Ain't nobody going to dictate our freedom. Stay strong." And it's like, that just brought everybody together that season, and then of course you got to the postseason, and it was just memorable, moment after moment after moment after moment, from the ALCS in Game 2 with Big Poppy's grand slam, and you got the bullpen dugout cop, the bullpen cop with his arms up and Torrey Hunter's legs because he's flayed over. Shane Victorino in Game 6 of the ALCS against the Tigers, the home runs in the World Series against St. Louis. Koji Iwahara ending, what was that? I think that was Game 5, where he ended it with a pickoff at first. I'm like, what? How bad do you have to be at running bases to get picked off nowadays? That's a rarity in baseball.
Not only did you get picked off, but you get picked off by Koji.
Yeah. Who, he was a fantastic closer, don't get me wrong, but he was a little slow when it came to pickoff attempts. So the fact that he got you was like...
It's like you have to remember to not balk when he was getting ready to pick you off.
Yeah.
That's the only way that I can really describe it when he tried to pick runners off, is that he had to remember in his head to remind himself to not balk when he threw.
Yep. So 13 is always going to be one of my favorites, but you got to, and you get a little bit pragmatic. Everything broke the right way, and the emotions played into it and brought everybody together, especially the beards. Everybody on that team had a beard, whether it was Clay Buchholz, his shaggy little, hey, I've never touched the razor in my life before, or Johnny Gomes and who was the meatball at first place?
Napoli.
Napoli, that was it. The smartest meathead in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And just the camaraderie that team had. They even had miser Jacoby Ellsbury, the kid who was just always constantly looked miserable while playing for the Red Sox for mostly his entire career, and for 5 games with the Yankees till he disappeared.
Injured a lot.
Huh?
He got injured a lot in New York.
Yeah, I know. I wonder if those injuries were more of a, I regret coming here. Yeah, I know, my hammy. But it's a guaranteed contract, so you can still pay me. But my hammy. But they went from worst to first to worst again. So it's everything kind of broke the right way in 13. And Farrell, you saw, was just he couldn't go and do it. Then
I think his first 2 years he was nails out of the gate, and then the next 3 were just, I don't even know what the next 3 fall in that were.
Well, the next 3, I can go and bring that up. Lickety split to go and bring up all bad memories. So 2012, yippee, not really. 2012, we were 69 and 93. That was the year of Bobby Valentine. You know, the man that invented the wrap sandwich. Yeah, okay, Bobby. So 2013, like I said, everything broke the right way because we went 97 and 65, the Red Sox, not we as in me and Ray. But the Yankees were out of the playoffs. They were fourth in the division. They didn't even get the wild card.
Nope.
You know, you needed 92 wins to go to the playoffs in the AL. And then Oakland, I believe that was the year. I forget who the Red Sox played in the divisional round. It might have been, is that the Tampa or Cleveland? I'll look that up real quick. We're like, you had Oakland as clearing away the second, huh?
I believe that was Red Sox Rays, yeah.
Red Sox Rays?
Yeah, 2013 ALDS was Red Sox Rays. Red Sox beat Tampa 3-1.
And then obviously they played Detroit.
Yep, because Detroit went over on Cleveland that same year in the DS. So the ALCS was the Red Sox in Detroit.
You know, it's like, let's see, what were the other teams that broke out? Like, you know, the Dodgers were close but not there yet. Atlanta was good, but they started slipping back at that after this season. St. Louis was great. I mean, you know, fucking Albert Pujols on your, or was he not on the team at this point?
No, I believe he was in LA.
Yeah, he went to the Angels by this point, but it's still St. Louis.
Yeah.
Like just everything broke the right way for the Red Sox in 2013, and then in 2014 they went 71 and 91, back to fifth place in the bottom of the division. But you know what? It wasn't that bad of a year because the Yankees missed the playoffs too.
That's always a good thing.
Perspective, my friends, perspective. As I look at 2015 for the Red Sox, fifth place again, but 78 and 84 versus 71 and 91. So a little bit closer to 500. 2016, they were back. They won the division at 93 and 69, but that was the year that Cleveland was on fire and made it all the way to the World Series just to lose Game 7 in the 10th to the Chicago Cubs.
Terry Francona led Cleveland Indians, correct?
Yes, the Terry Francona led Cleveland Indians, who are now the Guardians.
Yes.
2017 won the division again, but that was the year that we lost to the Astros.
Because they're cheating fucks.
Yes. That was also last year that we had Tom Farrell. Tom Farrell was let go, and then the next year Alex Cora came in, and we went 108 and 54, beat up the Yankees after Aaron Judge, and after Game 1, he started playing a New York State of Mind on a boombox, and then, you know, the Red Sox needed to whip their asses in New York. And then we played Houston, and then we played the LA Dodgers. But, like, I don't know.
Words are good.
Words are good, but words are escaping me at the moment. You know, I look at right now 48 and 45. You know, they definitely need to go and make a couple of trades. And again, Bobby Dahlbeck for Josh Bell on a 1-for-1, I'd be fine with. They need pitching help because, you know, you just get Chris Sale back, and now you probably lost him again. You know,
yes.
How long we'll have Evaldi for?
And that's not even the Chris Sale injury. That's not even his fault. That was just one of those freak, just right off of his fucking hand. And it doesn't matter how you're built. I know people get on Chris Sale because he's got that long, lanky, doesn't really have any meat on his bones kind of build. It doesn't matter if you look like Bartolo Colon. You take a line drive to the back of your bare hand.
Yeah, no, that's gonna
break something.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna break something. You know, so obviously I don't go and fault Chris Sale for that at all. Not in the least.
No, No, but going by what you see on, you know, uh, MLB subreddits and Twitter, people, oh well, he's made of glass. He needs to put more meat on his bones. That would not have helped the situation.
They
It
they used to say the same thing about Rob Gronkowski, especially after the when he tore up his knee. And I remember defending Gronk going, okay, one, he took a helmet to the back of his knee and it blew it out.
I thought it was the front, the on the thigh pad.
Or it was around the knee area, but he took a helmet to his leg.
Yeah.
And then I usually ended any argument by saying, so do me a favor, have a very athletic person run full speed with a 20-pound helmet on their head and run
Hit you.
Run and hit you in your thigh and knee area, and you let me know how you feel. And usually everybody that I said that to didn't respond back with anything other than, he still made of glass. No, we shouldn't have gone and shouldn't have drafted him. We should have kept Hernandez. No, if we kept Hernandez, we would have been, consorting with a murderer.
Yeah.
We did fine with Gronk. He got hurt a lot because of his play style. It's why he's retiring again at like 32 or 33.
I think
he plays. He just went all out.
I think I think this one's legit.
It definitely sounds legit. But then again, we said that about Brady, and then he came back like a month later.
Yeah, well, I think he's just doing that to spite the fact that his news of him retiring got leaked.
I think so too, especially after he goes and sees a video of Aaron Donald training, going, "Why did I come back?"
Yeah. All right. So with that being said, have a great day, baseball. We have put a bow on you, and we bid you adieu.
For almost an hour, we talked baseball. I've never been happier in my life.
52 minutes. We turned this into the baseball hour.
Yep, and it's great. I've never been happier. Sign Devers.
Yes, sign Devers. Re-sign Bogarts, please. Don't be dumbasses. We're gonna be the 90s Red Sox all over again with a $50 million payroll. I'm telling you.
Now, let me tell you, if we're gonna have this like minuscule payroll, these players that Bloom is drafting and trading for and haven't come up, they better be worth it, and they better be like superstars that are willing to sign for little money. Because otherwise, you're going to turn into the Tampa Bay Rays of, oh, well, I can go and get a better deal in LA, or I can get a better deal in New York or Boston. Well, actually, I can't get a better deal in Boston because the guy that was here is in Boston.
Here's the thing. That is exactly not what's going to happen, because you saw what they were doing with Devers. They're going to do this throughout the entirety of Chaim Bloom's tenure here, which is they're going to turn every fielder into a utility fielder. They're going to make them positionless, because when you make somebody positionless, you lower their market value.
Yep. Because what is he? Is he first baseman, third, shortstop? Is he
second shortstop?
Is he a catcher? And now with the advent of position players pitching in blowouts, well, is he a pitcher?
Right.
By the way, I'm over that shit. Stop with the positional players playing. No more positional players pitching.
We want positional players to play. We don't want positional players to pitch.
Because then you get into what happened last year with the kid in Chicago, where old fuck, White Sox.
Tony La Russa.
Thank you. Knew it started with an L. Tony La Russa going, you're going to get a talking to because you don't do that. The old unwritten rules, if it's a positional player pitching, you don't go and hit the ball. You don't do that. You don't hit a home run off him. You just no. I'm sorry. I'm not entirely sure. You basically want your team to just give up That's not integrity. There's no integrity in that. You play until there's no outs to go. You play until the final out. Just like the same thing with the '07 Patriots. The whole, they're running up the score. They're running up the score. No, your team sucks at defense. The game ends when all zeros are on the clock. Play better defense.
You play to win the game.
Thank you, Herman Edwards, even though the reason you said that was because your team did not play to win the game.
Right. I mean, context. Whatever.
But that point is the thing. That's the whole crux of sports is you play to win the game. But like Vince Lombardi went and said 1-2. Winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. Yeah. Right. In sports, winning is the only thing that matters. Doesn't matter, the sports. Moral victories, but the moral victory is still a loss. You lost.
We don't do moral victories here.
Again, it's like George Carlin. We need him back. Need him back in the worst way. Nobody he had in I think his final special before he passed away in 2008. He talked about how everybody's a winner now. Nobody's told the hard things, and nobody's gone and, told little Billy, you're a fucking loser, Billy. Get your shit out of your desk. You're fired. Get the fuck out. Nobody does that anymore. Everybody's coddled. It's okay. It's all right. It's okay you didn't get a home run. You'll get it the next time. No, sit his ass down. Tell him to work on his mechanics. And then if he can't get it right, demote him to AAA. Done.
Again, we are talking about professional sports.
I got 5 more baseball minutes. I'm happier.
All right. Goodbye, baseball. We are done. To the next topic at hand.
Back.
The next topic at hand that I would like to address is that of professional wrestling, brother. And for those of you that are just tuning in, we are on episode 2 of the Brother Jack Daddy podcast. Thank you for tuning in. You can watch us on twitch.tv / the BJD Podcast, where we go live all the time, whenever we're available, whenever we don't have COVID. And by we, I mean I.
Yeah. Or whenever we're not in the throes of depression because I'm living in a brand new area and oh my God, this is all scary.
It can be scary. It's
it is.
Scary. It's one of the things.
It's fucking terrifying. And I never thought 10 years ago that I would live in a totally different part of the country other than New England. And yet here I am 1,000 miles away from what I called home. And slowly this is turning into home.
Slowly. But and I'm glad that it is. But that is one of the things that isn't really talked about is the actual mental and emotional toll that moving and essentially because what you did was uproot your life.
Yeah.
Uprooting your life and trying to put roots down somewhere else that is completely and totally unfamiliar to you. The mental and emotional toll that takes. But yeah, it can be fun. It can be terrifying. It's not one of those things that is black and white. Like, hey, we're moving down south. We're uprooting our entire life. This is going to be great. In the long run, yes, it's going to be great. But in order to get to great, you have to go through terrifying, bad, depressive, lonely, all of those things is something that is not talked about and should, me personally, having the mental health background that I have, is definitely one of those things that people really need to take into consideration. I'm not saying that nobody should move anywhere. What I'm saying is understand that the feelings that you're feeling are completely normal.
And I've had a couple of friends go and say the same thing, yeah, no, dude, this is all normal. I had one that moved herself from outside of LA all the way across the country to up here. And they're like, dude, it was fucking scary coming here. I had no friends until I had to go and get help from being beaten up by the kids at the school. And I chuckled at that because that's just a funny way to go and become a friend of somebody. Though then again, I became a friend with one of my best friends because a girl got the two of us in trouble. And not because we were trying to get after her. This was kindergarten. She just was a bad kid. But like, I've had my friends go and tell me, yeah, no, dude, it's fucking scary. Especially like I got one friend where she's currently got Italian citizenship. She's got the Italian version of a green card. It was worse for her. She's like, I know the language. I know English. I barely know Italian.
Yeah, that is
I,
much, to me, that is much scarier. Now, not to say that moving, 1,500 miles away isn't scary enough, but at least you have the commonality of speaking the same language, of understanding.
yeah.
Now, moving hundreds of thousands of miles away, or tens of thousands of miles away, and then there's a language barrier?
Mm.
Bro, like, what am I doing? And so, I am glad that you are putting down roots and you are feeling better, because we did talk about this a little bit, that weekend when you would let me know that, hey, listen, I'm not going to be able to do a solo show. I'm not feeling it. So I'm glad that you are on the mend, so to speak, or,
Yeah.
being able to work through and cope with this enormous change that you are dealing with, going through. It's going to turn out for the better.
I definitely have my days where I'm like, oh, this all sucks. But most of the time, I'm very level-headed at this point. Like going, no, I think everything's going to be fine.
I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I'm starting to kind of see that. I have one job now. I'm still searching for jobs. Just because the job I have doesn't really pay a whole hell of a lot, and it's a very, very high demanding job. That's oof. The pay does not equal the workload at all. I'm not saying where I work for obvious reasons.
Right. But the income does not match the output.
No, the income doesn't match the output at all, nor the demands. But let me tell you, when customers go in and ask you questions of where something is and they're standing right fucking next to it, it's like one thing that I could do at the school when I was asked a question like that, a quote unquote stupid question. I could be a smartass back. I can't anymore. I hate this. I hate it here.
You don't have that tenure. You don't have that rapport anymore.
No, I can't. I'm like, oh, I could do this at the school. I could be like, okay, think carefully. You're asking where the pickle juice is, knowing you're in the aisle where the pickles would be.
Wait a minute. You guys actually sell pickle juice separately?
Yes, we sell pickle juice separately. And they're in like gallon containers too. Hey, no, it's okay. There was one guy who went and asked what the black olives were. He's standing right behind them.
On the opposite side of the aisle is the green olives.
Or it would have been like, well, the black olives are right behind you. Not that I, would ever go and search them out, but I mean, to each their own, provolone, I guess.
Oh, brother.
Olives were just one of those. Oh God, they look like eyeballs.
They do.
They look like moldy eyeballs.
You can either have the black ones, which just look like skeleton eyeballs with the black cavernous hole in them, or you can get the green ones that have like red pupils.
God, either one is gross. Though, when you say the cavernous eyeball thing, so both of us are glasses wearers. So I don't know how bad your eyesight is when you take your glasses off, but I have always been what's considered. Get this, people. If you didn't know about the different like determinations, like the two basics of eyeglass wearing, nearsighted, farsighted. Now, common sense would tell you that if you're farsighted, it means you can't see things far away. If you're nearsighted, you can't see things close up. You're dead wrong. Opposite. Nearsighted means you can't see shit far away. Farsighted means you can't see shit close up. It's like, okay, one of these things is not like the others. One of these things just doesn't belong here.
This is true. Nearsighted, you can only see things that are near. There was a way that you could, when I was growing up, there was a way that you could rephrase it so that you could process near, far, far.
It's basically that, like, if it's nearer to, like, the closer it gets to you, if you're nearsighted, the clearer it's going to look. I take my glasses off, I can't see shit right now. But, like, I got my phone, I'm looking at it, and as it gets closer, it becomes a little bit more clear that now I can read the notifications that were on here. I go and put my glasses back on, which are looking a little dirty, so I'll have to clean them a little bit. I can go and read everything that I go and see. I can go and read the Hulk versus Abomination canvas painting I have. I can read the Jack Daniels thermometer. Quick little funny story. I bought that Jack Daniels thermometer on my 8th grade field trip as we were going from Philly to Monticello to Yorktown, and I thought that looked really, really cool. And I brought it home, and my parents were both like, why? I went, because I thought it was cool.
I'm just glad that you're a product of the Massachusetts public school system and you can read.
Hey. Fair point for where I live. Anyway. So, like, the whole nearsighted, farsighted thing. Trying to remember where I was going with this. I just went through, like, zip, 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 zip.
Had an ADD moment, and that's okay.
Definitely had before. No, but, like, we're near. Oh, here it was. So you mentioned the cavernous eyeballs that black olives will look like. So I don't get a haircut. My eyesight is pretty bad without the glasses, and obviously because of the glasses, whenever I go and get my hair cut, which kind of need to, it always ends up like I have to go and take my glasses off, and I have to sit there, and they're asking questions. Oh, how's this look? I went, okay, hang on. A little bit more over on this side. Okay, take them off. Okay, how's this? All right, no, that looks good. Okay, take them back off. So go and clean up, put them back on, take them off again because I need to fix something, put them back on. It's a pain in the ass, but I can't do contacts because I can't go and open up my eyelids and do any of that shit. But whenever I'm looking in the mirror, it always, and it freaked me out when I was younger, and now it's just like, this would be a kick-ass album cover for a metal band, where I look in the mirror, and I go and see, it looks like my eyes are sunken in, and like that cavernous, like, skull type of look with my eyeballs because of just the nearsightedness. And I'm like, oh, this would be a kick-ass sunken eyes. That'd be a kick-ass like metal album name. Like the cover art for the album would be great. Like, this is awesome.
I'll do one better. Dead eyes.
Ooh. I like it.
Now get yourself a band together and have it.
That's gold, Jerry. Gold.
So moving on to from Seinfeld to pro wrestling. There are a couple things that I want to touch on, mainly because while I'm, laying down recovering from fucking COVID again, I feel like this has been the longest battle with COVID known to man. Reina, it was debuted at a dark match during last week's SmackDown, I believe. Reina Gonzalez got new entrance music.
Really?
Yes. And I'm sure you can look it up and listen to it. It may remind you of Desperado, because that's what it did to me. But here's the thing. Through the Squared Circle Reddit and through Twitter, there were calls of stereotyping. How dare they? This is stereotypical, and I can't believe that they're doing this, and this, that, and the third. All because it sounded very much mariachi-ish, like a mariachi band at the beginning. To which I tried to say, or maybe it's because she's of Latinx descent and she likes the music. Everybody ever think of that? Nope. It's because people. It has gotten to the point where people just want to be offended for other people, and they're doing things such as this. Why are you upset over an entrance theme? Because it sounds stereotypical Latinish. Like,
Well,
why? Why?
so
She's not offended by it and she loves it. Why are you offended for her?
are these same people offended by I don't know, are these same people offended by Shawn Michaels' theme music because he's talking about sexy boys? Are they offended because
Hold on,
he's trying to
wait.
encourage?
Let's rephrase that. Shawn Michaels was not talking about sexy boys. Shawn Michaels was calling himself a sexy boy.
Phrasing on my part, but it was intended to see if you could catch that. You know, but sexy boy, are people offended by that because, misgendering and, all of that stuff? Are people offended by Eddie Guerrero's music because it's stereotyping that all Latinx people do is lie, cheat, and steal?
Well,
Now, obviously, Crime Time, yeah, that one was definitely stereotyped. However, like, she's Latinx descent. I'm sorry. I'm of Irish and Italian descent, and if I wanted my theme song to go and have elements of that, I'd be perfectly fine with that, regardless of skin color, or if I had like Mexican or Spanish or Puerto Rican roots. It doesn't matter to me.
Right. So I guess my question pretty much is where do we draw the line? Because at times I feel like some of the outrage may be warranted, and other times I just feel like that it's getting to the point of just absolute ridiculousness. And that's just me. That is just that was just my take on the whole thing. Also, it has been going around Twitter and social media that it looks as if, again, this is all fan speculation. Liv is not getting loud pops. Therefore, she was not the right person to put the title on, and the title was only put on her as an FU to Sasha Banks. Now, to that, I know that there's a lot to unpack there. First off, to the Liv not getting loud pops, I would like to say take your TV off of mute and then watch the show. There have been multiple reports from multiple different sources at house shows. It is the loudest pop of the night when Liv comes out. It doesn't matter when Liv comes out. She could headline the show. She could open the show. She could run mid-show. It is the loudest pop that they have heard in a long time. This is coming from wrestlers that were there, as well as trusted staff members that were there, such as referees and people of the like. Now, to say that putting the title on Liv is an FU to Sasha Banks, I say show me. Show me how that is an FU to Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks left the company as a champion, was not pinned, was not defeated, threw the titles on the table and said, fuck you, I'm out. So giving Liv what, in my opinion, Liv Morgan deserves is an FU to Sasha, and I'm just trying to, like, as wrestling fans, we gotta do better, man. Like, just fucking enjoy the product. Don't be a fucking Vincel. Don't be a fucking AEW homer. Like, come on, man. And Jesus Christ, speaking of Vince, can we please talk about the fact that for the first time since WrestleMania last year, I got to see Titus O'Neil on TV. But Titus O'Neil was not wrestling.
Uh,
You know what Titus O'Neil was doing, Kev?
he was talking about how WWE is a safe haven.
A safe haven as long as you're male, maybe.
And as long as you're willing to go and suck dick, allegedly.
Yes. Perform oral sex.
Allegedly.
And have sex on a fairly regular basis, allegedly.
Allegedly.
To me, that screams. So when the story broke originally, the Wall Street Journal story about Vince originally broke. Vince decided that, yes, I am still the head of creative. I am going to come down and I am going to say then, now, forever together and leave just so that I can hear the pop. Now it's being reported that after he did that and heard the pop, he got backstage and he screamed, "Fuck them all." I firmly believe that with Stephanie being put in place and more information coming out, more stories getting ready to drop about Vince, that he may be feeling, maybe sweating a little bit. Why else would you have somebody who is arguably one of the most respected individuals in the locker room come out after not being seen since hosting WrestleMania last year to talk about how WWE is a safe haven?
Because something might be coming out in the next week or two that could be even more damning than we thought.
I mean, I'm not really sure what is more damning than what is already out there, and that includes the report that has resurfaced again from Rita. I cannot remember her last name, but she was one of the first female referees back in the mid-'80s.
Mm-hmm.
Where her story is pretty graphic, and it just seems as if she was essentially raped by Vince McMahon. And that seems to be gaining more and more traction. It doesn't seem, I don't know why you would look at those accusations and go, man, you're just talking a talk. Because really, I know it has happened before, but really, who does want to put themselves out there like that only to be called, be told that didn't really happen? Now, moving on, I'm just going to keep moving. Rhea Ripley, still out. She has a brain injury. Now, a brain injury is serious. It is serious in nature. However, people do not realize, and I am shocked at how many people don't realize, that if you get kneed in the face hard enough, regardless of the intent, if you get kneed in the face hard enough to the point that it breaks two of your teeth, you have a concussion. Like, that's automatic. And do you know what a concussion is, Kevin?
A real shitty headache.
Yeah, it's also a bruise on your brain. It is a brain injury. People were in an uproar because a couple weeks ago, Rhea Ripley posted a response to somebody because they had criticized her being out, and she had said that she had a brain injury. And people were like, "Oh my God, what do you mean you have a brain injury?" Blah, 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 blah. Folks, a concussion is a brain injury. It directly affects the brain. It is as if you're, imagine your head a car, and your brain the driver or the passenger. And your head is going full force 90 miles an hour in one direction and it abruptly stops. If you are the passenger in that vehicle and you're not wearing a seatbelt, because your brain does not have a seatbelt, it just floats in your skull, what the fuck happens? You're going to smash against the window. That's what your brain did, and the window is the inside of your skull. A concussion is a brain injury, folks. I'm not trying to underplay the seriousness of concussion. I've had them. I've had too many hits to the head. I have friends who have post-concussion syndrome because of the line of work that we were in. Concussions aren't fun, but they are brain injuries. So stop trying to make things worse than they are. Respect the woman's privacy. Let her heal. And hopefully we will see her back on TV. Somebody else we have not seen on TV in a while is Mr. Bryan Danielson. It came out about last week or so that Bryan Danielson is suffering long-term effects from a concussion. Tony Khan, I believe, had stated that, he's got a concussion. We don't like. I spoke to him a few days before Forbidden Door, and the rule is you have to go 8 days without a headache of any sort. And evidently, that's not what was happening. Now, Bryan Danielson's concussion history and head injury history is well known. He was sat down by WWE for, what was it, 3 years? 5 years? 3 years, right?
Yeah, I think 3 years.
He was sat down by WWE 3 years because they would not clear him because of the sustained head injuries that he had received. Bryan Danielson, we hope that you get well soon. And your concussion history, please pay attention to it. We don't need anybody being a vegetable, and we don't need anybody hurting themselves for our entertainment. With that being said, Kevin, is Wardlow a Roman Reigns knockoff?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I wouldn't classify him as a Roman Reigns knockoff.
Well, here's the thing. What does it mean to be a Roman Reigns knockoff? Does it mean that he has a beard, that he has long hair, that he does power moves? I don't understand. Again, this goes to the IWC and their combative nature to always pit one organization against the other organization. You can never just be fans of both organizations, all four organizations. However you see the wrestling landscape, I look at it as there's 4 big promotions, 2 bigger than the other 2. But you either want to work for AEW, New Japan, or Impact, right? So those are the big. Obviously, out of those 2, AEW and WWE probably your 2 biggest, and that's because they have mainstream media contracts. Like their TV deals are mainstream TV stations. Unfortunately, Impact is on Access, and some people don't get access. They also have their YouTube channel, but people, is it easily accessible? Yes, but is it something that you can just turn on? Like, oh, today it's Wednesday today. I'm gonna go turn on TNT, and we're gonna watch.
If you're good at streaming, it's very easy to just go and turn it on. But when you can easily still go and turn on broadcast or cable TV and know 8 o'clock Monday night, 8 o'clock Tuesday night, 8 o'clock Wednesday night, 8 o'clock Friday night, 10 o'clock Friday night, once you know that those are the times you can go and turn on and see a WWE or AEW program, boom.
Mm-hmm.
It's as simple as that. If Impact went on to, like, let's say they went back to Paramount, the Paramount Network,
Okay.
or if they went to, because that was the old Spike TV back in the day. If they did that, or if they went and did some other network, like obviously they can't do TNT or TBS because they're in
Say
a
they
deal
went to
with
CW.
to the CW. That could help them out, and that would also help out the CW network.
Yeah. But it's the fact that when you have those four organizations, you don't have to pit them together. Just because somebody has long hair and a beard and does power moves and does a power bomb, it does not make them Roman Reigns. Because guess what? Roman Reigns was not the first person to do a power bomb.
No.
I don't know how else to say it. And with that being said, I would like to wrap up our little pro wrestling segment, brother. So, Kev.
So, Ray,
what's going on in the land of the
NFL? A lot, but not a lot at the same time.
You know what's going on with the New England Patriots?
So, in case people in the 2 episodes aren't aware, I've moved to South Carolina, so I don't get a ton of access to Patriots news anymore. I try to keep up.
Hub has an app you can download on your phone and you can listen to all throughout the day. Thank you very much. Nice try. Anyway,
I have other podcasts I listen to besides 98.5.
Anyway, your New England Patriots, and they are your New England Patriots right now because they are sucking. And once they start doing good, then they will be my children again.
We are all Patriots. Remember that. Through the good and bad.
Your New England Patriots.
No, our. This ain't no Dave and Bully issue where it's your Cowboys or our. No, it's our Patriots no matter what.
Our Patriots.
The minute we start comparing ourselves to Dallas Cowboys fans is the minute that I say I want off this godforsaken rock.
You need to give yourself 30 lashes after the show.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
So the New England Patriots, they actually brought in coaches. Yeah, they brought in coaches, bro. They brought in coaches to teach the coaches how to run an offense that is beneficial to Mac Jones. They brought in Bill O'Brien and Fisher from Alabama to teach Patricia and Judge how to run a beneficial offense to Mac Jones instead of just hiring Bill O'Brien and Matt Fisher. I keep wanting to say Jeff Fisher. I know that's wrong because Jeff Fisher is the old coach from the Rams. But either way, what are we doing? What are we doing? You're paying coaches to coach your coaches so your coaches can coach.
Is this an episode of Pimp My Ride? Yo, we know you like coaches, so we brought in coaches to teach your coaches how to coach.
Like,
what
I don't. What are we doing?
Oh, Brady was right. Tom was right. Brady was right. Brady was right. Kraft should have fired Bill's ass so many years ago.
I can't even believe this.
Oh.
Bring in coaches to coach your coaches, so that your coaches can coach. Your sophomore quarterback who doesn't officially have an offensive coordinator. Instead of paying people. your your safeties are stacked, your corners are fucking garbage. Do you know that one of your corners goes by the name of Malcolm Butler?
Yeah.
You
A
know what team
nostalgia
Malcolm
signing.
you know what team Malcolm Butler played for last year?
The Tennessee Titans didn't get cut like halfway through the season.
Malcolm Butler did not play last year. He was out of the league.
That goes in that. Oh, I
Like,
man, am I gonna have to forsake 2 New England sports teams? Am I gonna have to forsake 3 New England sports teams? What the fuck have the Bruins been doing?
oh, listen, we're getting there. We're getting there. Okay.
My God, am I gonna have to become like a massive Celtics fan again? Am I 12 again?
I don't know. Do you
Is
want
that
to become a massive Celtics fan again? Because I'm telling you right now, after Grant Williams' comments, because Grant Williams is running wild, brother.
Yeah, I read that today too, and I'm like, what are you talking about? The Warriors beat your barn doors for 6 straight quarters.
Nah, but they weren't the better team, bro. They weren't the better team. We were the better team. By we, I'm speaking as Grant Williams, talking about the Boston Celtics. Because if you did not know, Grant Williams went on I think it was another podcast, not ours, and stated that the more he thinks about it and the more he watches footage, the Boston Celtics were the better team, not Golden State. Bro, who has the championships? Who got the trophy? I'm pretty sure it wasn't y'all. I mean, why?
Holy hell.
And this is the downfall of the Celtics. Okay, this is the downfall of this new look Celtics, and I blame LeBron James. You know why I blame LeBron James? Because I have never seen a bigger bitch, a bigger haunt to the referees during a game than LeBron James. And everybody that is in the league now grew up watching LeBron James. LeBron James, there was footage that surfaced today, earlier this week. LeBron James was playing in a Drew League game. And even then, in a Drew League game, he was bitching to the refs. He can't help himself. This new generation of NBA player can't help themselves. Jason Tatum cannot help himself. Grant Williams cannot help themselves. You know what I would do? Every time they bitch to the refs, that's it. Sit your ass on the bench. Next practice, you're running suicides until you puke. Oh, you don't want to play for us now? Cool. Conduct detrimental to the team.
Yeah, no, it should be like that.
This is ridiculous. And you know what? Them bitching to the refs is the reason why they lost the NBA Finals. Because you know what happens when you bitch to the refs? You stay on one side of the court while the rest of the fucking game is on the other end of the court. So what happens then? That means that your team is down a man because you're sitting there jacking your jaw with the fucking refs.
And it all boils down to, again, like, especially with these two sports, because their championships kind of coincide with each other. Basketball and hockey, the NBA and NHL. The NBA, whenever you hear a championship speech, unless it's Steph Curry, he's generally always done a we. It's always I. The bitching to the refs, it's I. It's about me. It's about I. Me, myself, and I. I'm the star. I need to bitch. Forget my team, though. In the NHL, it's about the team. The entire team. When one guy falters, the rest have to pick up the slack. And it hurts the team, ultimately. He was looking at you, Brad Marchand, in 2019, but I digress. That's how it works. That's how it goes. So maybe I'm glad I moved to a new area of the country.
Kevin, let me ask you this. This new look Celtics team: Jason Tatum, Jalen Rose, Grant Williams, Robert Williams, Al Horford. How many championships have they won?
0.
How many conference championships have they won?
1.
Can we please stop acting like we have a fucking dynasty? Y'all ain't done nothing.
Yeah.
Why would you get special treatment when y'all ain't done nothing?
So it's kind of like the Bruins. You're contenders. You're always in the conversation. But until you prove that you can do this multiple times, you're not a dynasty.
Listen, I don't even want them to do it multiple times. I just need the Celtics to do it once.
You know, and then
the constant bitching to the refs, to me, makes the game unwatchable. Because you have somebody standing there bitching at the ref, being all exaggerated, and it takes away from the actual game. Because now you're upset because your team's getting trounced on the other end of the floor because they're down a man.
Yep. You know, it's kind of, I'm bringing it back, folks, talking more baseball. But, like when it comes to baseball, when you argue with an ump, especially on balls and strikes, I know the strike zone is weird for every single umpire. Yes, I know the strike zone is inconsistent in the same damn game.
But listen,
however, when you argue with the umpire on balls and strikes, you almost immediately will get thrown out of the game, therefore bringing down your team, which is why you let the manager go and do it, because there's multiple managers behind him, or if you're Bobby Valentine, just go and get a mustache, and then, boom, you're able to go back out in the dugout.
But I'm more
able to do it that way. Don't argue balls and strikes. Let your manager come out and go, look, come on, get real. 3 innings ago, that was a ball. Now it's a strike. What changed? Let your manager do it.
I am more apt to allow bitching about the strike zone because it absolutely changes inning to inning.
Hell, it sometimes changes batter to batter.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're
pitcher to pitcher.
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw one game where pitch in the same location twice in a row. The first one was a ball, the second was a strike. It's like, wait a minute. Which one is it? Are they both balls? They both strikes, because last pitch was a ball.
But I again, because of the human error element in strike zone accuracy, I am more apt to let that happen because a lot of the times we're doing the same thing at home. But when somebody is clearly not fouled, Grant Williams, I'm looking at you. Ron James, I'm looking at you. And they act like they just got shot. Marcus Smart, I'm looking at you. And then I
can remember Montreal Canadiens players doing stuff like that, going down as if they've been shot.
I can't.
But it doesn't work out because on the other end, your team is down a man. You're trying to go and get the call. You're trying to go and get the referee to say, hey, no, that was a foul. I need the attention. And it's like, well, no, your team needs you to get up and keep playing, even though you may or may not have been fouled. Again, and I wish they called it more often. I still don't see them call flopping all that often in both the NBA and NHL, because I know the NHL had a problem with flopping as well.
They absolutely should. I mean, we saw it in the NBA Finals. Who was it? I think it might have been Tyrone Poole. Wasn't even touched by Grant Williams, and he just made it look like he got mollywopped in the cheek, and he went down.
The only game that I am okay with them flopping is soccer or football, if you're outside of North America. But Soccer, I'm okay with them flopping because you know what? Those guys for 45 minutes are constantly in motion running around.
Yeah.
So, like, that flopping, that tacks on, it also gives the other team, like, a chance to breathe for a second. Like, okay, all right. Is he up? Okay, all right, get going. It gives him a chance to, like, reset for, like, 10 or 15 seconds. That's enough.
Yeah.
Some of the flops are really comical, when, like, they start rolling around like they just been, like their leg was just completely cut off from the hip. And they start rolling around like, oh my God. But it's like, I'm okay with that.
Well, I think that's also because that's generally the sport where flopping originated.
Well, yes.
It
also helps you in that sport. You're not going to go and get the calls like you would in the NBA and the NHL.
It does give a strategic advantage, yes. Because it allows you to suck down some wind. But I just can't.
For some reason, like Grant Williams' comments, I'm like going, really? So where's your ring?
That's what I'm saying.
Like, if they weren't the better team, where's your ring? That's kind of on par with, sour grapes St. Louis Rams players from 2001 saying, the Patriots cheated? Well, where's our ring?
Yeah.
They didn't cheat then. Or Donovan McNabb. It's sour grapes and sore loserdom. That's what it is. It's one of those where George Carlin was right. People don't hear the word you lost anymore. Everyone's a winner. And we're starting to see that coming up now.
So we have a comment coming in from Twitch. And it says, but what about MJ and Larry Bird? Are you saying that they never bitched to the refs? No, that is not what we are saying.
No.
What they did is they bitched to the refs while they were running to the other side of the court. There is footage on it. You can see.
I remember watching MJ, turning around and going, "You gonna fucking call that?" As he's running up the court to go play defense.
Right, but that's the difference. He was running up the court to go play defense. He wasn't standing there giving his team a one-man disadvantage.
And the other thing too that I can't, and it's a minor thing, and you see this happen with not just the NBA, but the NFL too. With the NFL when they do like this motion.
Oh, throw the
flag. Throw the flag, and when they see the flag, especially on pass interference, anytime the referee, anytime a wide receiver doesn't come out with the ball, it's an immediate do the flag, throw the flag, and if they actually get the flag, they do yeah. And it's like, dude, come on, like you couldn't make the catch, so you're going to be saved by the fact that the other team, might have got a finger on you.
Well, here's the thing. Right, players that lose a game due to ticky-tack calling, they bitch about they shouldn't be so ticky-tack. But earlier in that game, you want them to be ticky-tack so that you can get the flag because you know that you got bumped on the 8-yard line instead of inside the 5-yard line, which is technically a penalty.
Yes.
So you can't have it both ways. You can't bitch about the game being called ticky-tack when you want the game to be called ticky-tack earlier in the game because it's going to benefit you. That's just not how it works.
No. Like, are there ticky-tack calls in all sports that you're just like, oh, come on, really? Yeah, of course there are. But, like, if you're going to complain about, like, ticky-tack, like, then don't benefit off of it when it goes your way.
You're absolutely right.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, you see a lot of these players, again, it's this whole, like, everybody's a winner. Nobody's told, like, no, you're a fucking loser. Like, Grant Williams, you're a fucking loser. You lost.
Your team lost in Game 7 at home
Game 6.
6. Your team lost
5.
6.
6.
Game 6 at home on your home court. You need to shut the fuck up. There is a lawyer, the weed lawyer. I follow him on TikTok. He always gives out advice. When you are pulled over by the cops and they ask you questions, all you have to do is shut the fuck up.
Yep.
Shut the fuck up. I'm not going to say shut the fuck up and play, because that you are more than just an athlete. What I am saying is shut the fuck up and train. Get better. Control yourself more when it comes to wanting those calls. You see what I'm saying? Just because now what you're doing is you're giving them bulletin board material. And I'm sorry, Golden State does not need any more motivation. Golden State is right now, as is Golden State. This Golden State team could go win another championship. If the season started tomorrow, this Golden State Warriors team can win another championship. That's how good they are. And they are. They are that good. So, shut up and train. Get better. Hone your craft. I understand you feel like you guys were the better team. I get that. Because you always want to be the better team. It's part of having pride in your team, in your teammates, and in your playing ability itself. You don't have to voice it. Because you don't have to give them bulletin board material. Because you know what? They could very easily have blown doors and swept you in 4 games.
Mm-hmm. And
on Twitch, we have another comment. It says, have y'all heard about that Star Wars puppet on TikTok? No, I have not heard about a Star Wars puppet.
Oh, Star Wars Dinks.
What?
Okay, all right. This is going to be a trip. So,
the rails, brother?
No, we're not going off the. Well, we're segueing. I guess we're segueing unless you had more about the Celtics and bitching and all that.
Pretty much it. It just really got under my skin, like, and it's not just the Celtics. Okay, it's
oh yeah, I mean, it's everywhere.
I am not a LeBron James fan. Does that mean that I have no respect for LeBron James? No, I respect that he has revolutionized basketball, current basketball. However, I don't like him. I never have. And I think the way that he plays basketball has pretty much killed the fucking game. But that's just me.
Yes. So, I guess then to segue into this one about the Star Wars puppets. So, TikTok, we all know it. We all use it. Mm-hmm. Some of us, we use it because it's fun. Some of us, we use it because, well, you know, maybe some nefarious after dark fun.
I'm sorry, what?
I am sure, right, that there are some people who only have a TikTok account solely for the purpose to go and look and watch.
Gotcha. Okay, so you weren't talking about you. You were just.
Oh, good lord, no! I like and share things, but I have yet to post anything on TikTok. I might post something.
Hey, maybe
we'll have a TikTok.
Maybe posting clips from the podcast. It may not be a bad idea. Maybe we should do that.
But we should do that.
I especially love Chef Talk, Drunk Talk, and Barbecue Talk.
I love Chef Talk.
I have found more drink concoctions through TikTok and all of the bartenders there than I could ever imagine.
So there's one that they go and create a bunch of like nerd style ones. So one called it the Choose Your Path, and it was, oh shit, what was it? I know, I forget the actual ingredients for it, but in one shot glass was blue,
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine it was probably blue carousel.
Yeah.
And then the other one was red, which I'm imagining might have been grenadine, and then it was probably placed in vodka or something. And you place the two shot glasses on top of the big glass with the vodka and ice.
Mm-hmm.
You picked which one, and that was to choose your path. And blue, obviously, representing Jedi and Star Wars, and red representing the Sith.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, oh, on this drink, I would pick the blue curacao. I'd push the grenadine aside. If grenadine is in my drink, I'm downing it very quick because I do not like grenadine.
It's like cherry syrup.
And I like cherry soda. And I'm one of the few people that when given cherry cough syrup, I'm just like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I can't do grape cough syrup. It's disgusting.
Like any other cough syrup, I'm just like, oh god, this is gross. But you give me cherry NyQuil or cherry cough syrup, and I'm just like, I'm down on that like it's fucking chocolate milk. Whoop.
Nope, give me the green death flavor of NyQuil. I want to know that I am sick, and I want to feel every ounce of it.
Oh god, no. I'd rather go and take bleach to the eyeballs than green NyQuil. Absolutely not.
But listen, that green death flavor of NyQuil will absolutely let you know that you are doing better than you were before taking it.
Listen, that green NyQuil could also go and cut me a check for $600 million. I still would say no. That's how bad. That mushrooms, person cooking me mushrooms go and say, look, I'll give you $100 million if you eat this one mushroom. I'd go, fuck off. So anyway, about the Star Wars puppet. So there was in Star Wars Talk, a creator known as Star Wars Dinks. It was DINX. And I followed him, full disclosure on that. I followed him because he offered up a lot of lore stuff. He'd get asked questions, hey, Dinks, what was blah, blah, blah? And he would explain it. And it was this little pink puppet. Obviously there was a hand and all that, and a person behind the puppet. Well, apparently it was found out that the person behind the puppet on his Facebook page, he was sharing some very colorful views regarding LGBTQ plus and some racial issues, i.e., basically it's just saying a bunch of bigoted things regarding LGBTQ or people of other races. So when this was found out and he was called out on it, he used the phrase homosexual agenda. Never apologized. Yeah, I see your eyes, Ray. I saw your eyes bug out. Oh, man. Yep. No, he used the phrase homosexual agenda. And it, like, honestly, anything agenda. And it's like, oh, Jesus Christ. But he used homosexual agenda, never apologized, tried to go and say that people were accusing him of saying this isn't true, all this stuff, basically like trying to attack and dox the people that are trying to go and take him down because, all this. And then eventually his account just got completely banned, taken off of TikTok.
As it should.
Yes. There was another Star Wars TikTok creator that I follow who lives up in my old and your neck of the woods, who explained that, look, I followed him too, full disclosure, but we don't have we shouldn't have a place for people like that, and we shouldn't.
No.
The only way that I think you can get rid of that type of thought is to ostracize that type of thought away from mainstream. It's the only way.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's always going to be.
Yep, there's always gonna. There was even an episode of Fairly Odd Parents back in the day when I was a young lad, just growing up in a very blissful world where nothing wrong was happening. And then the internet came up. But in this episode, Timmy Turner wished that everybody was the same. So everybody was a gray blob. Ray knows what I'm talking about. everybody was a gray blob. And yet there were some gray blobs that were better than others because they were the grayest and the blobbiest. I was like 11 or 12 when that episode came out, and like it didn't dawn on me until I was in my mid 20s with this episode's message being hate's everywhere, no matter whether we're the same or not. And it's up to me and you, Ray, to go and change that.
Yeah, I first off, I absolutely agree. There shouldn't be hate should not be broadcast. There should be no way to broadcast hate. It would be great if hate didn't exist, but unfortunately, the human species is just. There's so much to say, trying to find the correct words to say them.
You want me to?
You're inclined. A human is inclined to love and hate. That's just the way it is. But you need to understand that it's okay to hate something. I hate pickles. Why? You cannot. It is not okay. And we had this conversation off air, and this wasn't even brought up. You know, when we were talking about differences of opinion. Like, I can be friends with somebody who has a difference of opinion. I cannot be friends with somebody who advocates for somebody's rights to be taken away. Whether it's male, female, or because they identify as a fucking crayon. What does Jimmy down the street wanting to identify as a crayon, how does that negatively impact your life? Because I'll tell you right now, it doesn't negatively impact my life. If Jimmy wants to be a fucking crayon, let Jimmy be a fucking crayon.
Yeah. No, I've always been like, you know, throughout my entire life living in New England and even down here for the month and a half I've always been like, no, like, do whatever you want, man. Like, I don't care. Like, I have a friend of mine who they came out to me as transgender. And when they did so, like,
did you make them feel like less of a person? Did you tell them they don't deserve the rights of a full person? Of a full person? There's quotation fingers there, full person.
No. I looked at them and went, oh, okay, cool.
Hey,
and like kind of moved on with the conversation, and they stopped me and was like, I hate you, but I love you.
Because how does the way somebody wants to live or love negatively impact your life, or in general, in the grander scope of things? How does it negatively impact society?
It shouldn't.
How I look at it, it doesn't negatively impact society. It doesn't. If anything, somebody coming out as transgender, gay, bi, gender fluid, queer, asexual, pansexual, somebody coming out as any of those, intergendered, that, you know what that does? That, in my opinion, and I think you'll agree too, it helps to further society. It helps society to grow. Because you know, that kid that lives next door to you, that 8-year-old, 12-year-old, 15-year-old kid that doesn't exactly know what they're feeling, but they feel that they are different than everybody else. That's inclusion. It's representation. Everybody has a right to be represented. It's like I constantly lose my fucking shit when I see people, and you know what? It happened. It happened at the fucking drive-thru earlier this month during the fucking Lightyear movie. Okay? There is a scene in the Lightyear movie where two same-sex parents share a kiss on their 40th wedding anniversary. And I heard somebody say, oh, here we go with that gay shit. Yeah, you're right. Here we go with that gay shit. You know why? Because there are actually people around you, and there are people in this world that have two females, that have two moms, that have two dads.
Yeah. Like I've always like
Is what a fucking shame, and how dare anybody show inclusion for those people? God forbid. How are they denied that right, and how is that any sort of good for society? How is that not detrimental to society? Comments like those.
well, to us, to me and you, right? It is detrimental to society, and that's the type of stuff that, like, I remember what Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker, the final in the Skywalker saga and all that. At the very end of the celebration, they had two women kiss, and like, okay, cool, and it just moved on the scene, and like, whatever, they had a black lead. Okay, cool. He's a former stormtrooper. He's incredibly important to the story because he knows his way around places in the First Order.
Right.
Damn. It's not he's just a token black guy. He's probably going to die in the second. But no, he's incredibly important. And he also tried in The Last Jedi to do the most heroic thing possible, which is to sacrifice himself to stop the First Order.
Yeah.
If only Rose had not decided to love instead. We shouldn't fight something we hate. We should fight with someone we love. And it's like, I'm watching that in the theater like, oh, come on. Yeah, you don't see what he was trying. I know you love him, but like sometimes you got to let something go. And that should be the thing you let go.
Right. So here's the thing, right? People want to talk about the homosexual agenda. Yeah, the homosexual agenda. Let's talk about the homosexual agenda. Do you get off to two girls fucking making out? You like watching girl on girl porn? Because if you're against the quote unquote homosexual agenda, then it's got to be across the board. You can't fucking pick and choose, bud.
Like there's certain things in
girl on girl porn's got to go too.
There's certain things in life, right, that you can go in and pick and choose which ones, but they're very menial. They're very light. There's some things where you really can't pick and choose, especially when they come to moral things like, whether it's morally right to take away rights or whether it's morally right to go and talk about agendas. There really isn't a pick and choose argument. It's either you're cool or not. And if you're not cool, well, then we need to try to see if we can change your opinion. And if we can't, well, then we have no use for you, sir. Goodbye. See you later. Do not go past go. Do not collect $200. I'm not telling you to go to jail, but you don't need to collect $200.
Where did we all of a sudden think that it is okay to deny humans from existing?
I think it's always been there. I've for years been like kind of coming up with this theory in my head that it's only because of the internet. No, it's not only because of the internet, because it was there in the 80s with the AIDS epidemic.
Mm-hmm.
And now monkeypox was at first being said, it's the gay pox. Well, no, it's affecting everybody. So I go and start thinking about it, thinking, all right, so the advent of Twitter, a free public/private forum, because they are a private business, so they can decide policies and all that, and go and kick you off for various reasons. Some are dumb, some are not. But it's a public forum that anybody can freely sign up for, because there's no charge for Twitter. There's no charge for Facebook. There's no charge for Instagram. So I'm going, so you know what? It wasn't Twitter's fault that all these agenda advocates, the ones, they're promoting the homosexual agenda, they're promoting the black agenda, they're promoting this agenda or that agenda or the female agenda. These are people that have always been there, but they haven't been able to freely express their thoughts because there wasn't a readily accessible platform that goes out to millions upon millions of people. Like what I'm doing, like what we're doing, where we're going out to 2 million people. The 2 is the right number. The million is, well, we won't talk about that. But like, we're going out to people. We're expressing our opinions. You know, we're telling people how we feel, how we think. And there's other people doing the same thing. Now, the 2 of us, we're kind of like-minded, where we're both thinking the same thing, that no, it's wrong to go and call it the homosexual agenda. It's wrong to go and call this agenda. It's wrong to go and say it this way or that way. You know, but there's other people who are going to look at that and go, well, there is a homosexual agenda because they decided to go and put that in there because, you know, they want to force it down our throat. Well, they don't have to force it, because we live in the United States of America, where the First Amendment says that Congress shall not infringe. And I'd like to point this out. Congress shall not infringe upon. That means that Congress is not going to pass a law that tells you what to say, what to read for news, who to pray to, and where you can protest. Now, granted, the where you can protest does get a little bit muddled, because if it is labeled as private property, then yes, no, you have to get off. If it's a public place, public property, well, no, you can protest there, just don't be an asshole.
Would you consider blocking traffic an asshole move?
Yes.
Okay. I am all for right to protest. I cannot get behind people blocking freeways, people blocking highways, blocking roads, because you don't know what's going on 5 or 10 cars back.
Yeah, there could be a guy in an ambulance who's in cardiac arrest, and if he doesn't get to the hospital, or she doesn't get to the hospital in 5 minutes, when they're 3 minutes away, they're going to die.
Right.
And if you're blocking the highway, or you're blocking the access to the hospital because that hospital uses animal products, and we at PETA, the same PETA that uses kill shelters. Okay, got it. So, you know, like, you block the roadways, you block a motor transportation, like you're going to get attention. It's just not the attention you think. The attention isn't going to be on the cause you're protesting. The attention is going to be on, get the fuck out of my way, asshole. That's what the attention is going to be, and it's the wrong attention.
And I feel like that's where a lot of causes lose the more centric individuals. Like, because we all know your extreme left, you've got your extreme right, you've got your moderate right, your moderate left, and then you have the people in the center. And doing things like that, like going too far left or too far right, is a very easy way to lose the people in the center. And there are a lot more people in the center than people realize.
Like, I know when I've talked about this with my parents, you know, my dad's always gone and, you know, kind of put it that it's probably on, if you add up both sides of the extreme right and left, which it's not a line, it's a circle. Yeah. Because the extreme right and extreme left, they want the same thing, but they are going about it in different ways. He usually puts it at about 20% if you add the 2 groups together. And then the rest of the 80% is going to be, obviously, the closer you get to the bottom of that circle, where they're very center, middle of the road. There's a lot more of those people. And yeah, you're going to have those that lean one way or the other. You're going to have some that, and when it leans, sometimes they lean fully one side or fully the other. Sometimes it's a very slight lean.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's such an imperceptible lean that you might as well call them central or centric, whatever they call them.
Centric.
You know, like, far opinions lose the centric. And if you want to equate it to protesting, if you protest on the side of the road with your signs, you're going to get a lot of attention. You'll get honks. 90% of those honks are probably going to be honks in solidarity, like, oh, yeah, good for you guys. And maybe you get 10% of honks who, they're assholes, who they don't agree, or, they're honking because, oh, well, everybody else is honking, so I guess I'll honk too. It just doesn't really affect me. Once you get in the road, though, 100% of those honks are not in solidarity, or they are in solidarity, just not for you.
No, solidarity for the people in front of the people that are honking to run you over.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying is there's a fine line, man. And I have always thought that blocking an access, an access road is an asshole. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. I think it's an asshole move. It doesn't matter what the cause is. It's an asshole move because, again, you don't know what you don't know. And you don't know what's going on 3, 4, 5 cars behind the car that's in front of you.
Yeah. It's like when you go, like another part of, you don't know what's going on. When you go to a restaurant and they go and tell you, even though it looks empty, that, there's an hour wait. Maybe it's an hour wait because they don't have the staff to accommodate you. Even though there's people sitting down and eating and it looks like they have staff, maybe that restaurant is managing the staff so they're not overworked, so they don't have too many tables. Right. And once you start bitching about that, or you go into the restaurant and you start bitching because the food you ordered they don't have because they ran out of it. Well, you're a restaurant. You're supposed to have unlimited supply. Well, no, it doesn't work like that. There's no such thing as unlimited supply. Everything is limited. Life is limited. Yours will be limited more if you keep bitching about the fact that your prime rib isn't available.
Nice. That's great. We've gone completely off the rails here on the BJD Podcast.
Again, I need to get all my smart-ass comments out because I can't use them at work. So it's like I can use them here.
There'll come a time where you'll be able to use them at work.
Yes, there will definitely come a time when I'll be able to use them. But like, you mentioned that every person has the capacity to love and hate, and that's true. And so I'm going to equate this to Star Wars because I'm damn good at equating shit to Star Wars.
Here we go. Get your seatbelts ready.
Buckle up, motherfucker. So, in the animated Clone Wars series, towards the end of the original run, I'm not talking about the Disney Plus run, that dealt with different themes, and it was more leading up to the end of the Clone Wars and Revenge of the Sith, since the last 4 episodes of that season run concurrent with each other. Whoa.
Excuse you?
Yeah, excuse me. Holy shit. That escaped. Whoops. I can get on burp talk. Okay, I can get on burp talk for that one. So, anyway, back to love and hate. So, in the arc with Yoda, in the final episodes of the original run of the Clone Wars, he goes on a journey to discover the inner workings of the Force.
Right.
And he sees a vision that he fights of the dark side version of himself. And at first, he doesn't believe it to be true. I don't have a dark side version. This dark side version gets stronger as the fight prolongs until Yoda eventually realizes the truth. Recognize you, I do. Am you, I'm not. And once you recognize that you do have darkness within, but you don't act upon it, that takes a lot more strength because it is very, very easy to be a dick to people. It's incredibly hard to be a good person, because you want to go and look at the person, let's say you're on a bus with 5 people and you look at the 5 people, and it's very easy to go and look at, oh, well, that person's face is crooked and bent out of shape. Oh, that person has crooked teeth. Oh, I could go and call them, a British rapscallion or whatever. But it's very hard to go and look at a person and say, no, you know what? You look like a good dude. I think I'll go in and talk to you. It takes a lot more strength. To go another nerdism I have is equating to other things. The balance that you have within, it doesn't have to be with normal everyday people. It can also be with strangers.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. It can also be with friends. Albus Dumbledore said, it takes a great deal of courage to stand up to your enemies, but even more to stand up to your friends.
Yeah.
So when you're friends, what, right?
With your friends, you already have the acceptance. It's a tight bond. It's the same thing as standing up to your family. There's that closeness you don't really experience anywhere else other than with that group of friends or with your family. And there's such a feeling of knowing that or thinking that you could no longer be accepted if you stand up. So it absolutely is 110% more difficult to stand up to friends and family than it is to stand up to a stranger.
Yep.
A stranger can be a one-off, whatever. Friends and family, that's damn near life-altering.
Yeah, because that friend, it's such a crapshoot. That friend could, or family member could, and I'll use friend because it probably is more 50-50. Family's a little bit tougher to go and deal with because, the first thing you think of is, well, you can't pick your family. You're right. I can't pick my family because this is the family I was born into.
No, you can't pick your...
It doesn't mean that I can't call out that blood if they do something that I deem to be wrong. And with your friends, the difference between friends and family. With family, yeah, you can go and say, well, then I want no contact with you. And that's a very tough thing to go and do, and that takes a lot of strength, a strength that I don't think I could ever go and have. So I really envy the people who can go no contact with family over anything. With friends, it's like you said earlier, Ray, both off air and on air. Look, we can have differing opinions, but you say something that is not right by my book morally and you don't want to change, then I can't be friends.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier to go and tell a friend to fuck off than it is to tell a family member to fuck off.
I've done both. It was easy at first, through both. You know what I'm saying? Like telling a friend to fuck off, or somebody who you thought was a friend to fuck off, and telling your family to fuck off. It comes out the same, and it kind of sits there the same for the first, few days. And then you realize, oh, okay, I don't have, you want to call somebody. Oh, hey, you just realized, oh, that's right. You're an asshole. You fuck off because you're an asshole.
Yep.
You're more apt to go through that you with family than you are with friends. With friends, I can be like, fuck off, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because usually with friends, there are fractures that are in place or have already been in place. And you can kind of be like, oh, this is weird. This is not who I remember. This is not who I thought you were. So it's a little easier, as opposed to family. We have it so beaten into, I don't want to say beaten into us, but ingrained into us, into our psyche, that, oh no, that's your family.
Mm.
No matter what, that's always going to be your family. No, that is my blood. I didn't choose my blood.
Yeah.
I'll damn sure choose my family, though.
Yep.
Like, there needs to be, if you can make that, if you can make that correlation, if you can make that, I'm looking for the word for split. If you can make that, that split where it's not so much you can't choose your family, it's you can't choose your blood.
Mm.
But you can choose your family. If you can make that different, if you can differentiate that, it's a lot easier to make that cut with the people that you share blood or DNA with.
Yes. Very, very true. Now, I know that we've been talking some very heavy stuff in the last, I don't know, half hour or so. So I would like to share something just to kind of, send everybody off on a good note.
I like good notes.
We'll go and send everybody off on a good note. I saw this, I don't know, what was it, a couple weeks ago, I think? A few weeks ago. Oh, this tweet was dated June 30th. So yeah, that's more than a couple of weeks ago.
It's about 25 days ago.
20 days? 20 days. We can do math. We are from Massachusetts. We can do math.
God.
COVID has rocked you. I don't know. You've got a built-in excuse. Me, I'm just fucking dumb.
Bro, COVID brain is fucking legit. Like, I had to go to the doctor's, and I had the radio on, and it was a song that I know like the back of my hand. I couldn't keep up with the lyrics to save my life. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, my brain just wasn't processing.
Yeah. Yep, nope. I've definitely had moments like that, and usually it's when I listen to the song "As the End of the World as We Know It" and I Feel Fine by REM, because I can usually sing the first two lines, and then after that it just goes to Leonard Bernstein. Legit, that's how it goes.
Yes, I know. It's just the way that you did
it. So here's the tweet I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right. Hang on. I gotta.
It's kind of. Don't take this the wrong way, Kev, but it's kind of small.
Do I have one? Oh, I don't have that yet. Oh, we could use that phrasing one.
I got some.
Emotional damage.
Yeah, that's about it. All right, so I will go and read it since it's a little small with the way that we have things, but that's okay. It's not about the size. Judge me by my size, do you?
Uh-oh.
Okay, so the original tweet from @ScarletScav says, "My man terrified of boobs." Now, any man that's out of boobs is a man I really don't want to meet because, good lord, man.
Well, if you're a man terrified of boobs, I need to know why.
Like,
sit down and talk.
Were you crushed by them? Like, did you just have a bad experience? Do you yourself have boobs? And you're terrified of them?
And it's not that he doesn't like them; it's that he's terrified.
Did you have nightmares of boobs attacking? Like, or are you secretly Eric Cartman going, "Watch out, Wendy! Watch out, Wendy! Your titties are gonna go and get you!"
Why are you terrified of boobs? I need to understand. going
Yeah.
along with this, please. So the original
Yes.
tweet is my man terrified of boobs, and the replies are
If you are a female, this is the tweet that this person who tweeted out these pictures is talking about. It's from at Akamades. If they have I've just noticed this. This might be a furry talking about this, which makes it even worse.
we don't discriminate. We don't discriminate. However you want to live your life is how you want to live your life.
No. If you're a furry, fuck off.
I don't know why you
Okay.
hate, but furry.
If there's one thing that I will go and discriminate against, it's furries. They're fucking weird, man.
Won the pandemic. Furries were wearing masks a lot longer than we were. Just remember that. And they don't complain about them.
I hate it here. Anyway, if you are a female who dresses in overly revealing outlets, please look in the mirror in the morning before heading out and ask yourself, is this tiny mood/confidence boost today worth more to me than people's rights to be in control of their own feelings and bodies?
I want to know how somebody can dress in a revealing outlet.
It's like there's a sound on TikTok, of a woman going, am I showing off my boobs? Or do I just have boobs? It's like, she just has boobs.
I like the way I like the way they do that. I like the way that is done. Am I showing off my boobs or do I just have them? Because 99.9% of the time, you just have them.
They're just there.
They're just there.
They're just there. And you know who are the ones that sexualize them the most? Men. Do you know what boobs' actual role is? It's to feed.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
So, goes on to say, breasts should stay hidden. Oh, well, au contraire, my friend. Au contraire. Breasts should not stay hidden. Men's breasts are out in the open.
Yeah. Guys can bear nipples in public all the time.
Another one. Female breasts are not just lumps of fat on the chest. They are highly erogenic sight. They are a highly erogenic sight for males, and it should not be normal or ethical to show or tease parts of them in public. My man.
Erogenic.
Erogenic? That's how you say that word?
Yeah, it's erogenic, like erogenous zones. Breasts are erogenous zones, so erogenic.
Well then.
Motherfucker, do you speak it?
Apparently not.
Well, I mean, this goes back to you stating that they dressed in revealing outlets earlier.
Well, yeah, and this is great. Just look away should not be the answer to our complaints.
God.
No, it's an answer to your complaint. Just look away, dude.
It is.
Working where I work, I go and see all types of people. Now, most of these people are, they're a type, all right. Some of them aren't. Some of them are the ones that should be at the bougier ones.
Right.
They have a little bullseye. And you look at them and go, you do in your head, it's Matthew McConaughey going, all right. But you stare for half a second and that's it. You go back to doing what you're doing because if you stare for longer, you're going to get in trouble. That's what 99% of guys do. Apparently, this dude can't do that. And
So far, these tweets are sounding like somebody that just doesn't socialize with women at all.
That or they're 12.
I mean, or they're 12 and just going off of conservative parents.
Yeah, who they're very impressionable. They don't understand stuff yet, and they're also young enough that they can't resist. Which is why if you're 12, listen, from the age of 12 to 16, sweatpants and big bulky athletic shorts are your best friend. and learn to indiscriminately tuck. And by indiscriminate, and not indiscriminate, discreetly.
There you go.
There we go. English. I do know it. Eventually. Never. So, those are some keys if you're 12 to 16.
Yes.
Large sweatpants or athletic shorts, and discreet as possible. I am not saying that women should cover up at all times or anything radical like that. I merely want to raise awareness that men should have the right to not get aroused unnecessarily and outside of our own will in public. The confidence of another person should not outweigh male comfortability in public and the control over our male bodies.
Oh my God.
Look, there's a second brain down there. When that second brain sees something that they like, it does not matter. However,
bro, somebody
big brain can tell little brain to stuff it.
Well, that's what little brain is trying to do.
Well, and that's when big brain goes and says, bank it and move on.
Somebody needs to tell at Archimedes that we have two heads and only enough blood to run one at a time. So fucking deal with it and figure out how the fuck to be discreet.
Mm-hmm.
Stick your hands in your pockets and do the fucking waistband tuck. It's not difficult.
Nope. But there's more. There's more to this. We should not allow the manufacturing of overly revealing female topwear in any clothing category. I want to be able to be in control of my male body at all times and not be forced to look away or get aroused by strangers wearing overly revealing clothing in public. Unnecessarily revealing female topwear is sexual harassment, and guys who agree with this should not be bullied for not wanting to see cleavage on the streets and public transportation. Keep it in your pants is equivalent to keep it under your shirt. Change my mind. Dude, no. It is not sexual harassment for a woman to wear a piece of clothing, but it is sexual harassment to go and make that piece of clothing out to be more than it is.
Yeah, it's not sexual harassment for a woman to wear a shirt that bears some cleavage. It is, however, sexual harassment for you to whip your fucking dick out because it makes you feel some type of way.
This is definitely the type of person who grew up with very, very conservative parents who, like, for all we know, this could be one of those Duggar boys, you know, who's were taught the sole purpose of sex is to procreate. Look at us. We have 19 of you. Ha, 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 ha. Come here, honey. I want another kid.
The fucking vagina is not a goddamn clown car.
No.
Sorry. It's not.
Well, if you saw the story of Octomom, you'd think differently about that statement.
You're not going off the rails like that. Not today. Not on the fucking struggling as it is, we cannot. No, we're not doing that. We're not gonna go there.
But we already did.
Oh Lord, no. There's definitely, yeah. I would equate that to this sounding very much like a Doug. You say Duggar child, and yeah, it does harken back to it does have notes of being ridiculously strict and like conservative because. I mean, and it also just screams like, I am man, my feelings matter more than yours. Thump chest, thump chest. And like, can we just get over that? Like, bro, women are 50.8%, almost 51% of the population in America. As a male, you are in the minority, whether you like to believe it or not. So can we just give the majority of the population in America their fucking due? Can we start taking rights away from them? Can we treat them like fucking equals? Is that fucking possible? mean, Jesus, fuck, what is going on? To quote my wife, I don't like this timeline. I want to go back to my own.
One final thought. What if 2012, the Mayan calendar was supposed to predict the end of the world and was 2012, it would be the end? What if that was the end of the world and everything post then?
Oh my God, it makes sense.
I know. And on that note,
folks, join us the next time we go live for episode 3, where we're going to do something a little differently. We're not going to do current events. We're not going to do sports. We may do a little bit of wrestling because it's going to tie into what we are watching, a catalog of what myself and Kev are watching these days. Thank you for tuning in and joining us for our second episode of the Brother Jack Daddy Podcast.
If we're going to be doing an episode about what we're watching, I have to remember everything I've watched.
Write it down. Put it on a note.
Still going to forget, but I'm going to try.
All right.
ADHD, folks. It's fun.
Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to check us out whenever we are live on twitch.tv/the BJD Podcast, where you're going to hear some brothers, a few jacks, and some daddies. And we got some brothers in today. We didn't do too good with the jacks and the daddies, though. We'll try those again next time.
I
bid you adieu and farewell.
I think we did good with the daddies with that last tweet thing.
I mean, okay, if that's how you want to go, we can definitely do that. That's fine. Yeah, use daddy that way, but all right, there we go.
Remember, discreetly tuck, and you'll be fine, kid.
There you go. Words to live by.
All right. Adios.